I'll give a moment for people to jump on and invite others and see if we can get lots of people on here, and we'll start our Stories Come Alive for today. And this is when I read to you out of the D. Gary Young book that is the world leader of essential oils, and this tells the truth about essential oils and the farming and the seed to seal process and the process that Gary Young went through in order to create our amazing Young Living essential oils. So as we get started here, thank you for joining, and as we get started here, I'm going to put on Ylang Ylang, which is one of our farmed oils in Ecuador, which I am blessed to be a part of the planting of the Ylang Ylang trees, the harvesting of picking the Ylang Ylang, oh my goodness, and the distillation of Ylang Ylang. So thanks for joining me today, and definitely put a comment in so I know who's here with me. And I'm just gonna rub that beautiful scent of Ylang Ylang through my hair. A lot of people like to use the Ylang Ylang as a perfume. Ylang Ylang is one of the main single oils in our blend Peace and Calming, amongst tons of other blends. And Ylang Ylang is known to support us by balancing male and female energies. So it smells very different in the bottle than on your body. Know that your hair is a beautiful diffuser. Rub it through your hair, short or long, or even if you have hair on your arms, wherever. Hair is like a wick, taking the oil in further into the skin. So it's a beautiful day to talk about our Ecuadorian oils, and we stopped right in the middle. Today's going to be pretty short with lots of photos, but I'll read it first here. In August of 2007, the first distillation took place, a remarkable feat, and those who visit stand in awe of the accomplishment. Gary carved this beautiful producing farm with all of its attractions out of unusable wasted jungle land. If you want to see that, go to the previous video on this YouTube playlist called Stories Come Alive. 3 14,500 liter extraction chambers distill large quantities of plant materials 6 days a week, 11 and a half months of the year. And during some harvests, the distillery operation runs 24/7 to extract the oils at exactly the right time. The glucose contents, the Brix measurement of the plant, is monitored closely to ensure that harvesting and distillations happen at the right time. Distilling even 1 day too soon or 1 day too late can reduce the amount and quality of oil produced. So right here are a lot of the pictures. Let me get them for you, and let's see if we can get rid of the glare. There we go. So there is the Ruta, was the first crop to be distilled in 2007. You can see the distillation vessel there. And then here is the 350 HP wetback boiler built in Guayaquil. And that boiler heats that water up. There you go. And there is the shop, is large enough to work on heavy equipment inside during the monsoon season. The office is on the second floor. And here is, wow, look at all that plant material coming out after it has been steam distilled. A 6-ton block of distilled plant material is lifted from the cooker with a 10-ton hoist. And there are the boys. Those are the young boys, Jacob and Joseph. Everybody helps, and they learn very early. Now those boys, I think, are like 14 and 16, something like that. So, continuing reading about this process, critical to the extraction process is the cooling system that runs through the condenser. Because of Ecuador's hot climate, it was a challenge to figure out how to cool the water without shipping cooling units from the United States for a cost of about USD 250,000 each. That wasn't a feasible option, so Gary became very creative and came up with the idea to put copper tubing in an ordinary deep freezer and fill it with antifreeze to keep the pipes cold. It seemed ridiculous and many people laughed, but when it was done and all hooked up, it worked beautifully and has worked extremely well since 2011. On the lower level of the distillery are 4 different smaller size distillers that are used for the extractions of the oils of Ylang Ylang, Palo Santo, new crops and plant material for testing, and crops that need to be distilled in smaller batches. Ylang Ylang's one of those that has to be distilled in smaller batches, and I'll show you that in a sec. These smaller chambers are used for research when new plants are found and for crops brought in by the co-op farmers and natives who wildcraft in unfarmable regions. Some of the natives from the jungle are earning an income for the first time with the crops they bring to the farm. New plants are constantly being discovered, and their oils are distilled and analyzed, and some become new oils for Young Living. So here we go. Here are those pictures. Let's see. 4 small distillers are used for testing new plants and crops. See how small they are compared to the huge cookers? And then, where am I? Here we go. In tropical climates, it becomes a challenge to cool the water enough to recover all the oil from the distillation. If the water is not 50 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, there will not be an adequate separation of the oil and water. The idea came to Gary to use a deep freezer as a heat exchanger. He bought one for each condenser. Against the wall, you can see those deep freezers that was modified with copper tubing and filled with antifreeze to keep the water cool to complete the process. Genius idea. Very creative and very practical. Much cheaper. So with that, 2 more 14,500 liter cookers were added to meet the growing demand, and flex tubing was imported from the U.S. for Gary's modified design. And lo there, I am in that audience right there. Gary teaches the members about the distillation of Dorado Azul. So I am blessed to say I was there at this next year. So it's coming. Here we go. Let me keep the pictures flowing. Check out this planting. In June 2011, land was cleared for 24,000 Ylang Ylang trees. Members planted thousands of seedlings, and by June 2013, the trees had grown into very big, busy trees that produce flowers year-round. Wow. So my first trip to Ecuador was 2008. 2 weeks. Going from Quito to Guayaquil was quite an adventure. And there were about 80 to 100 of us going from there. It was the first group that got to go get educated in Ecuador, see the farm, and be with Gary Young in the classroom for 2 weeks. It was there that he taught us about health and wellness. He taught us about the farm. He showed us the farm. He showed us the clinic there. He showed us everything that could be done in the Ecuadorian lands that not necessarily could be done in the United States. And the freedom to make a difference in a region that needed prosperity. So one of my favorite memories is seeing the school that was a 1-room classroom that they did everything in, and the outhouse where they were to go to the restroom and spend time, and it was not good. And it was that first trip in 2008 that Gary said, we need to build a school. And we talked about that in some of the previous videos, but it was such a beautiful thing. And there bloomed the foundation, the Young Living Foundation, as a school was built. And I have 2 boys in Ecuador, and that I support, that I'm proud to give them an education through our Young Living Foundation. Our Young Living Foundation is the only foundation that I'm aware of that 100% of the proceeds go, 100% of my money go directly to the cause. That Young Living foots the bill, the corporation foots the bill for all of the overhead to make the foundation run. And that makes me very, very, very happy. So 2008, I was in Ecuador for two weeks. 2009, I went back to Ecuador for 2 weeks. 2011, I was part of this planting crew. 2013, then I got to pick. I got to pick what we planted. So I got to see this farm with the brush, with mosquitoes everywhere, with high bush to walk through, with monsoon seasons, sorry, my heater's on, monsoon seasons washing out the road, and we had to get, mud boots, and we had mud up to our knees that first year. And then I got to see it the next year where the gravel was put in and the roads were stable. And then I get to see it a few years later where there's actually land for us to plant more. It was cleared and ready. And then I got to go back a few years later and I got to actually pick, get to harvest, and I got to distill. So that's where we're about at right here. So here it is. There's the planting. In June 2011, land was cleared. For 24,000 Ylang Ylang trees, members planted thousands of seedlings, and by June 2013, the trees had grown into very big, bushy trees that produce flowers year-round. Rereading that. Now look at this. Oh, look at that beautiful tree. Nicholas, the farm manager on the right in the white shirt, checks to see how the Ylang Ylang harvest is progressing. Francisco, field manager, nicknamed Panchito, on the left in the green shirt, was the first local person from Chongan to be hired. And he's still there today. Now, and here are a bunch of pickers. Happy Ylang Ylang pickers. Prima in front was transformed from St. Mary's to Ecuador because of her farming and distillation expertise, and that acquired after working for many years in the St. Mary's farm. And then look at the beautiful rows. The original 24,000 Ylang Ylang trees expanded to 48,000 in 2013. Now, here is a medley of pictures. See if you can see me. There I am, right at the top with my cowboy hat on, my straw hat, smelling the Ylang Ylang flowers. Right here is Jared Turner, the president of our company, taking in the beautiful scent. When you take those flowers up to your nose, it's like intoxicating. And it's so fun to pick. There's a science to picking. So here's these trees. You see the tree. Let me go back. You see that tree, and every so often you'll see a little, and it looks like my fingers, a little yellow flower kind of limp like this. And you open up the flower, and in here is the center of the flower, and you see if the center has a red ring around that very center. And if the ring around it is red, it's ready to pick. If that ring is not there with red, you don't pick it. So it's very distinctive. It's hand-picked. You look at every flower, okay? So I have lots of pictures from this trip of my own. These are the ones from Young Living. And here is the Ylang Ylang getting ready to go into the cooker. Ylang Ylang flowers are sorted and distilled in the small distillers on the lower level of the distillation. And oops! Do you see me there with my sunglasses on, my cowboy hat, and my hand in the distiller? Yep, that's me with all my Young Living friends. Yay! So with that being said, Ylang Ylang flowers are very delicate. So hence they go in the small cooker. They lay out right outside the building on metal shelves where they lay out, and we spread them out so that they get lots of oxygen and air and time before they go into the cooker. And that is all very timed out, very precise. It is all monitored and recorded. So every little bottle of Young Living essential oil has a little stamp on it. Now they have barcodes, like some of the newer bottles have barcodes as well, but they also have a stamped number. It's really hard to see on there, but it's stamped in there. And on these older bottles, the stamp is really small. Right above there, you can see the numbers. And that stamped number tells us all the sourcing, everything about this crop from this bottle, how it was filled, where it came from, all the sourcing information and data, the testing of this product is all sourced through that stamped number. What other essential oils do you see that on the bottle? You tell me. So here's some more pictures coming. Here's where we all eat. It's a beautiful bamboo hut there. The restaurant, built with bamboo, serves over 250 nutritious meals every day, and it is such good meals. And then here we go. Farm workers, spa staff, and many guests enjoy nutritious meals prepared every day in the kitchen. And there that is on the outside. There's the kitchen and the dining hall. During the monsoon season, the reservoir levels comes up so high that it creates the appearance that the restaurant is floating. Nice. And here we go. I'm going to read to you again. The restaurant that sits on the stilts over the reservoir serves over 250 nutritious meals every day to 150 farm workers, spa staff, clients, and many guests who come to visit. Acres of rice are grown on the farm for the restaurant and the school. The garden grows numerous types of vegetables and fruit galore, especially with the banana and mango plantations that are within a 2-minute walk from the kitchen. Special meals are prepared for those in need at the spa, and all the meals are organic with no sugar, white flour, or other unhealthy ingredients. The tropical fruit juices made daily are organic and delicious. Goat cheese and yogurt are made from the organic milk that comes from the goat dairy on the farm. It is a tourist delight for all those who come to visit. Everything is sustainable for you right there. Here's some more pictures. There's Mary and Tamara and Valerie. Love the sweet bananas. Look at that. The amazing yacon is a potato-like vegetable that produces a sweet mineral-rich liquid when pressed. Did you know that we have yacon syrup? Yacon is a great sugar substitute and it's mineral-rich, kind of like a molasses, even more so. So yacon, and it's also really good to know where your foods are coming from and where they're being distilled. Young Living. So nothing compares to the delicious taste of organic mangoes that have been ripened on the tree. One entire hillside at the farm is covered with thriving Sasha cacao trees from which Young Living organic chocolate is produced. Ecuadorian Sasha trees are the flavored trees because the beans have a delicious flavor and very productive. 1 hectare, 2.47 acres with 1,100 trees of Sasha trees can produce 2 to 3 tons of cacao beans per year. Yep, we have our own cacao farm as well. How about that? And that is where I am going to, wait a minute, do I want to continue this? Yeah, we're going to continue. Nope, we're going to stop right there. Next one I'm going to taunt you is going to be about eucalyptus blue, another one of my favorite Ecuadorian oils, and more farming that you will come, and more testing and more research. So I hope you enjoy opening up this book with me, hearing the stories from Ecuador with me, because I was there firsthand. And it's very precious to my heart that I have been involved with Young Living for 15 years and was able to see the seed to soul process come to fruition and grow and grow and grow. So when you have questions about essential oils, come to someone like me that has been there, that knows the true story, that knows how this works, that has seen it firsthand, has literally planted, has picked and harvested, and has been part of the distillation process. Right? In a land that others may not know. So know that farming is important, and knowing the source of where your precious essential oils are coming from. So thanks for joining me today, and Stories Come Alive. See you next week. Ciao. Let me see. Is there any comments? I don't have any comments.